This is the handy guide of how not to do the hate speech. Hello. Have you ever had those dangerous little things called rational thoughts? Well, you knock that out. If you're not careful, you might engage in the hate speech. Yet sometimes you find yourself looking at facts, figures, and logic. Don't do that. But how do you stop having rational thoughts to make sure you don't accidentally commit that dreadful the hate speech? Hi, I'm Mr. Obvious, and I'm here to give you this handy guide of how not to do the hate speech. The best way is to follow a simple set of rules. Rule number 1. Remember that feelings are more important than facts. So it's important to keep this in mind. For example, let's say you're out and about and you notice on average that women are physically weaker than men. Perhaps you notice that female firefighters aren't able to lift as heavy sandbags as the men. When a man and a woman arm wrestles, usually the man seems to win, even when the woman is physically taller than him. You might be tempted to think that, on average, men are stronger than women. Do not do this. Remember, if you were to say that women weren't just like a man, regardless of physical evidence to say otherwise, you might hurt women's feelings. And as such, do the hate speech. And this is a no-no. Remember, my friend, there are no physical differences between men and women, because men and women are equal, and as such, completely the same. If you ever find yourself in danger of having a rational thought, remember, feelings are more important than facts. Rule number 2. Remember, although all groups are equal, some groups are more equal than others, and thus receive special treatment in the form of protected classes. What this means is, in order to make sure that everyone is treated equally, protected classes are treated better than other groups, because by treating them better, we promote true equality. But who counts as a protected class? Well, all of the following count as a protected class. Let me give you a few examples. Women, race, except whites, religion, except Christianity, sexual orientation, except straight, and more all make up protected classes. What's that? You say that you're a straight white male? I'm sorry, but you don't count as a protected class. This means you're not allowed to have an opinion, especially if that opinion criticizes or questions a protected class in any way. What's that? You're saying that at your job, a woman falsely accused you of making inappropriate advances on her with zero evidence and zero witnesses? That's too bad. As a woman, a protected class, you must believe anything and everything they say. Be careful now. If you choose to speak out against this protected class, or have any criticism, you will be severely punished. Sorry, you lost your job and ended up homeless. But look at the bright side. You did not do the hate speech. Remember, everybody is equal, but some people are more equal than others. Rule number 3. Humans have this pesky little thing called pattern recognition. It helps us do all sorts of neat things, like recognize the danger from wild animals, like a lion, or learn when it is best to eat a fruit because it is ripe and sweet. If it wasn't for pattern recognition, well, you wouldn't even look both ways before crossing the street. You would simply cross the street and probably be hit by a car. Patterns are important. However, if you do the pattern recognition, be aware, you might be at risk for doing the hate speech. Let me explain. Let's say that you notice a specific proportion of the population, let's say men in hats, are committing a majority of the crime. You might make the grave mistake of recognizing a pattern, especially if that pattern involves a protected class or facts. Remember, these rules apply retroactively, and they also stack. What's that? What about the potential danger to society? Don't worry. It's more important that you don't do the hate speech. While sometimes helpful, pattern recognition is extremely dangerous. Rule number 4. Let's say that you've tried everything. You've put feelings before facts, made sure not to say anything against a protected class, and to not recognize patterns, but you're still not sure if you're at risk for doing the hate speech. When all else fails, use the liberal friend method, developed in 1882. The liberal friend method is the perfect way for you to find out if the statements you are making are doing the hate speech. Although the equations behind this method are fairly advanced, in practice, it is actually very simple. Whenever you think you're at the risk of having rational thoughts, putting facts before feelings, or recognizing patterns, simply ask your local liberal friend what they think of your statement. If your liberal friend agrees with what you say, then it's not hate speech. If your liberal friend disagrees with what you say, even if it's contradictory, it is hate speech. You see, liberals get to decide what is hate speech and what is not. You might even say it's whatever they say it is. Ah, but this is not fair, you tell me. Well, too bad. This is how the system works. Remember, if your liberal friend disagrees with your statement, it is probably the hate speech. I hope you enjoyed this handy guide of how not to do the hate speech. You now have all the tools you need, but that's merely the obvious. If you've enjoyed this content, think about joining me on Patreon or Subscribestar. Joining will get you access to a private Discord server. And if you enjoy these guides, why not share them on social media so that others can know how not to do the hate speech? Thank you for watching. This has been Mr. Obvious, and I'll see you all next time.